There's women like whether but this is yours or
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this NPL Queensland clash between Gold Coast Knights and St George Willawong. The teams are in for tonight, starting with the visitors St George. Number 15, Alexander Krisic. Number 16, Danilo Kovacevic. Number 20, Deng Deng. Number 5, Freddie Bahamwong. Number 17, Jordan Davey. Number 8, Joshua Wilson. Number 14, Luka Jankovic. Number 10, Mitchell Herman. Number 1, Nikola Popovic. Number 44, Shunsuke Nakatani. And number 2, Umaru Sheriff. Substitutes tonight for St George, number 4, Akok Deng, number 11, Alexander Simmons, number 43, Harry Christie, number 9, Jacob Fullock, number 99, Sazdo Georgiev, and number 41, Bailey Quinn. For Gold Coast Knights tonight, number 9, Marquez Walters, number 12, Shelford Dace, number 6, Luke Kroll, number 2, Jaden Walker, number 23, Brad Inman, number 4, Tyson Martin, number 11, Taisei Kaneko, number 1, Casey Went, number 14, Ramet Akbari, number 7, Ty Cobb, and number 5,
A very good evening, everyone. If you're getting a sense of deja vu, don't worry, you're not alone. This all seems more than a bit familiar, and so it should. 10 days after Gold Coast Knights faced St George Willawong at the Croatian Sports Centre in Carrara in round 5 of the Kappa Queensland Cup, they're back to do it again in this rescheduled NPL round 3 clash on a soggy Friday night. And just like that Tuesday night, it's James Coughlin here in the commentary booth, ready to bring you all the action on FQTV. Knights will certainly be hoping for a repeat of their 5-1 win in the Cup. However, St George will no doubt be desperate for just a little bit of revenge and also for their first win in their maiden NPL campaign. Wouldn't they just love to do it over the reigning premiers? Let's run through the lineups for tonight's game, starting with Gold Coast Knights, coached by Scott McDonald. The goalkeeper, Casey Wendt. Number 2, Jaden Walker. 4, Tyson Martin. 5, Sam Layton. 6, Luke Kroll. 7, Ty Cobb. 9, Marquez Walters. 11, Ty Kaneko. 12, Shelford Deas. 14, Ramad Akbari. And 23, Braden Inman. A couple of changes. Well, just the one change actually for Gold Coast Knights. Max Brown is out and Ty Kaneko in. Jordan Bukavak makes an appearance on the bench in place of the suspended Brendan Lowe. Meanwhile, for the visitors, St George Willawong, the goalkeeper and captain is Nikola Popovic. 2, Umaru Sheriff makes his return from suspension. 5, Freddie Bahomba. 8, Josh Wilson. 10, Mitch Herman. 14, Luka Jankovic. 15, Alexander Krisic. 16, Danilo Kovacevic. 17, Jordan Davey. 20, Deng Deng. And 44, Shinsuke Nakatani. 2 changes from last week's loss to the Brisbane Roar youth. Andy Thompson is out of the matchday squad completely, and Sazdo Georgiev is on the bench. Daniel Kovacevic comes back from the bench. And as mentioned before, Umaru Sheriff makes his long-awaited return from suspension, and they will certainly be hoping that the returning number 2 is able to make all the difference, having missed that Kappa Queensland Cup match. Well, as you can see on your screen, however you are joining us on FQ TV, old habits die hard. It is wet. It is very wet, actually. Good luck to St George in their all-white kit tonight. Gold Coast Knights in their red shirt with the white shorts, and all we can say is bear with us for this evening. Our referee for tonight's game is Tom Elliott. He's assisted by Abdullah Al-Khamisi and Jackson Daly, with Brad Burton as the 4th official. And a couple of months after it was originally scheduled, round 3 of the NPL men's season is underway. And it's Knights going from left to right on your screen. As we'll work our way through the precipitation, and a lunging challenge early is George asking for the foul early. Did that come off the arm of Layton? And a very early yellow card for Sam Layton there, as he will go into the notebook. Let's see if the replay can catch it there. As just a little bit late on that button, sorry. Just the second booking of the season. The curling ball is cleared away. And back it goes for Popovic. Walker has taken up station on the right. For the time being, at least, as that it goes for Shelford Days, who was very busy in that first meeting between the sides this season. Now Ty Cobb, who has made the move from the Raw youth setup. Working it wide to Walker for Leighton, and he'll launch that one in. It's cleared away by St George as Herman trying to bring that under control and put under pressure. Kaneko through for Cobb. And he will fire that one into the St George fullback. It goes behind for a corner. And the delivery will come from behind the umbrella.
Stepping back a tiny bit.
Short corner taken as Knights will work it down right. Barry squares it over and it's clipped towards the back post by Inman for a target. Scoreboard down in the far corner is out of action tonight. Eight and over for Kroll. Deus getting in on the action as Knights will shift it over to the far side. And through ball now is it's worked to the edge of the box, falls to Cobb on the near side, deflected, still alive for Knights in the box as a trio of St George defenders eventually are able to clear it away as Knights continuing to ramp up the pressure. First meeting between the clubs this season, 10 days ago, was certainly a fiery affair. The first half, 3 goals, 7 yellow cards, and the second half was a little bit calmer. It still featured 3 more goals. Now Martin will line up a shot from range, and it fizzes off the turf, and Popovic is able to turn it away. It might have been heading just wide, but we'll see what the replay tells us. Tyson Martin, who not that long ago was playing centre back for Brisbane City. Knights pushing all of their bodies into the 6-yard box, bar Leighton, who scored off a corner in that match. And then back to Martin. Akbari in the centre of the pitch will play it to his left. And Herman on the defensive duties as Kovacevic cuts that one out. Walters and Kaneko with the fast feet, but his shot is blocked away by Sheriff. Deus now looking for the 1-2, deflected back to Martin, back to goal. He'll right back for Akbari and just let Knights retain possession, and Cobb gotten tripped up by Deng as some opportunistic shouts for a handball off Nakatani. Bahomba. Left side duo will be very, very busy tonight based on how Knights have set up. Walters, the likely main threat down that side. Bahomba. Zic forced to check back towards the halfway line. A bit too tall for Jankovic. And out it goes, and is probably a good time to mention it is Female Football Week here in Queensland, and no shortage of activations going on around the clubs here in Queensland, which I might tell you a bit more about later on as Walters blocks that one and Sheriff gets the second attempt at the clearance. Dan will hoof that one clear. Find some space to make a run before he was eventually closed down. Cobb with the heavy touch, and the appeals for a corner will fall on deaf ears as Deng Deng will leave that ball for Popovic to retrieve. It has been a rough start to the season for St George Willawong in the NPL, however. Still a long way to go with all the postponements still to be played. Just 2 draws from 6 matches so far has left them on the foot of the table. Now Bahomba has found some space. Can he find some support? And his teammates were expecting the ball to be played through. Sheriff under pressure by Walters, and he's got it back, and oh, what a touch from Cobb as he tried to go for the acrobatic control. He almost pulled that one off. Now Deng. He's dispossessed by N-Man. A veteran finding Kaneko, and Cobb will try and run in behind Wilson, but no such luck for Knights. Popovic will send his players down the pitch for the long ball. That is retrieved by Knights. Knights just putting on the pressure as it stands, as they've enjoyed the lion's share of possession. Really St George resistance hold out as the foul is committed by Wilson, and not too many objections. The only one really appeared to be as to where the ball would be placed, as Martin tries to find the right patch of grass before deferring to Kaneko. Plenty of players set to make a run from the back post for Knights. Can Kaneko find a player in a red jersey? It's Curled deep, headed back, and eventually cleared away by Jankovic. He's forced to go horizontally. Knights just continuing to poke and prod. St. George holding their line thus far as Deng sends that one away. Beautiful ball through from Martin to pick out Deus, and the deflection almost came right into the path of Walters. Jankovic battling for the ball, but Martin wins it back with a high five for Akbari. Just a little too hot for Shelford Deus. Sheriff just happy to get that one away, but won't be too much time for him to gather his position as Knights will once again the ball back in and around the halfway line. Quarter of an hour played here at the Croatian Sports Centre, a very damp Croatian Sports Centre. As a heavy dose of rain came through just before kickoff. Deng was a judge to have fouled Cobb. Another set piece opportunity for the home side as he's had a couple of times to tune up his radar. It's curled in and nodded on, and did Leighton block the opportunity as Knights should have gone ahead, as we'll check the replay here, as that looked like about as clear cut of a chance as you'll get. A beautiful ball in as it was nodded on by Tyson Martin. Take you back to live pictures. Now as St. George just tries to more than about 30 seconds with the ball at their feet. Just give their defenders a bit of a break. Goes for Krizic, and entirely sure that was what he had in mind. Krizic, one of a handful of St. George players to feature in every match for the side so far this season. Making his 14th appearance across all competitions thus far. Walker in a bit of space, cutting back onto his favoured right foot for the cross, but George defence once again up to it. Now Walker tracking back. Deng Deng. Looking for an option. Now the switch of play for Bahombla. Krizic get onto the end of that pass. Getting the return pass. Space for the cross to Walters, and Sheriff able to draw the foul off Walters. Combination of Cobb and Inman is coming together nicely as Ty Cobb, a player that seems to rate very highly. Carrara, as mentioned, they signed him in time for round 1 of the NPL season, which was late February, but it feels like almost an eternity ago, given what's happened in the 2 and a bit months since. This was the match that was originally scheduled for the weekend of March 7 to 9, but surprisingly it was postponed due to Cyclone Alfred. Heavy touch from Walters there as Martin, he's been unbelievably busy in the first 19 minutes. But now, St George, can they capitalise on the space? It's Davey. Stopping his run, searching for a pass, able to switch it over for Krizic, who's swapped flanks for the time being. Now Wilson. Ding is just able to keep that one in. The assistant had great line of sight for that as it's just in towards Kovacevic, but able to produce a header that will trouble Casey Went. I think that might actually be the first time I've called his name tonight outside of the team lineups. The long-time backup to Josh Langton, who has ascended into the starting job this season, Casey Went. Started every league game this season for Gold Coast Knights and every Kappa Pro Series match as well. Foul conceded by Nakatani in a very dangerous area, and that is going to be a yellow card for the defender. Must have been adjudged to have been a cynical challenge there. Now from this range, is it shooting territory for Kaneko? It looks like it could well be. Popovic is cheating towards his near post, and at full stretch he would have had an on-target strike covered, and it just goes wide either way. So St George survive another dangerous moment. Popovic was hanging on to that near post. Thumps that one away, and it's returned very quickly as Kovacevic is dragged down from behind by Akbari, the Afghanistan international. St George starting to gain a bit of a foothold in this game as Herman plays it through very well, and the flag has gone up for offside against Yankovic. And St George almost thought they might have had the chance. Well, this game was all a little bit helter-skelter on the edge of the box, and offside must have come from that first passage of play, because of that replay. Final pass through, looked like it might have been into an onside. Luka Yankovic thumping challenge on Cobb, as Sheriff will voice his displeasure with that, as will a couple of his teammates. A couple of dissent yellow cards handed out last week, so we shouldn't be too surprised to see that feeling continue tonight. And it looks like we've got a corner coming up. Kaneko giving the signal, but we'll have to wait just a little bit because Popovic is wound up on the edge of the 6-yard box. As Mr. Elliott just makes sure everything happening in there is above board. Well, at least you can smile about it, Nikola Popovic. Driving delivery to the spot, and it was met by one of the St George players. Yankovic, the clearance. And Cobb will put himself to the ground. Hoping to atone for that heavy touch, but no foul given, and throw-in has been awarded to Knights, and they'll keep that one going. Switch of play from Martin, finding Walker now back for Kroll as Knights continue to try to find a way through, and the shot from the angle is fired over. Man with the strike, and now just a quick word from the referee to Deng Deng. So some of the other action we've got coming up, it is Female Football Week, and one of the cool things we're doing, or we're seeing at Nudgee Recreation Reserve, is the first ever Women's Magic Round here in NPL Queensland, which, if you're not entirely familiar with the concept, it is just like the A-League's Unite Round, the NRL's Magic Round, Super Rugby's Super Round, etc., etc. Basically, every game from that round is in the one place. And we've got 2 matches currently underway, which should be just getting to half-time. Easts are taking on Souths United, and Brisbane City playing Gold Coast Knights women, as we'll have Adam Cattell and Amy Webster bringing you those matches this evening on FQTV. And then it is a triple header tomorrow afternoon, starting at 2 p.m. with Mitchelton North Lakes, the early one, Sunshine Coast Gold Coast United, and then it's the QAS against Lions to round out the weekend there. This is the third competitive meeting between these clubs in the NPL era. Mentioned the 5-1 win for Knights. The first meeting was a bit closer, to say the least. It was 2nd of May last year, the final match day of the Kappa Pro Series down at St George's Park, with Knights coming away with a 4-3 win. On that occasion, the goal scorers for Gold Coast were Debele Bakavic, Emi Martinez, and Luke Beckwith, with only Jordan Bakavic still involved with Knights tonight. He is on the bench, and we saw him off the bench last week as Deus can't play it through Wilson as he throws the St George midfielder to the ground. Berman and Krizic. Bahomba is moving forward to provide support on that left flank. Davey instead recycle it back to Sheriff. And it's Knight's turn to set up the organised defensive structure and say, "We dare you to break us down." It falls for Davey, who has in a bit of space. Instead gives it to Herman, gets a chip through, and strong work by Deus to get that one back, and the free kick was awarded for the shirt pull, which is seen by Tom Elliott. Half an hour played here at the Croatian Sports Centre. Still waiting for the breakthrough in this match. James Coughlin bringing all the action on FQTV for this Friday night feature. It is a busy run for Gold Coast Knights. This is actually the longest break they'll have between games for a little while by the looks of things. 7 days since they were last in competitive action as the offside flag goes up against Walters. They were last in action last Friday night with a hard-fought 1-0 win over Moreton City. Both teams wound up reduced to 10. Ben Herring was sent off for Moreton City just after coming on as a half-time sub. And Brendan Lowe picked up his second red card of the season. And if my stats are accurate, it's actually consecutive, well, red cards in consecutive appearances for Brendan Lowe, who's now serving a 3-game ban. It may not matter if they can find the right delivery, and the deflection off Kaneko finds its way into the welcoming hands of Popovic. Now St George looking to pick up the pace in attack as Akbari just plays that over the sideline. Gives the Knights defence a chance to reset. Meanwhile, St George did not have a very happy May the 4th. They were down 3-0 to Brisbane Roar as that's clipped in. Now on the first time strike, Yankovic has it blocked by Martin. And Cobb will take on the St George defence. A strong challenge made by Bahomba. That's Wilson. Options to the outside. Be the most successful spell St George have had thus far, and it could provide dividends as Bahombwa cutting back, and first time strike from Yankovic goes over. St George have certainly made their adjustments from that first meeting where there was a lot of success for Knights going down both flanks, but especially the Knights' right side with Deus and Cobb. Two teams playing each other twice in quick succession. Can make those tweaks and they might be just that little bit more effective. With the first meeting fresh in everyone's mind. And the very organised structure for St George has helped them hold out Knights thus far. Deus looking for an option at the back post, and Popovic came and couldn't quite claim as one of the Knights players is down. We'll go to the replay. He just gets checked on by the referees. His ball from Deus was just out of the reach of Popovic, and he left it late. Deng clearly not expecting it, as Walker will return to his position now. Loose pass could be pounced on by Walters. Will he let that one go behind for the corner? He will. And there you can see on your screen the corners are continuing to stack up for the home side. Add in a couple of attacking free kicks as well. And Knights might just have to try and find a way to make these set pieces count, because St George's defence has been strong thus far. Leighton from a corner last time. Can they find the big number 5 here? Well, can only find the near post where Martin was being marked by two players in white. Yankovic might tee up something here if he can be found by Davey, and a couple of the St George players were steaming forward, hoping for the quick pass instead. For the slightly more patient build-up. Martin just seeking a bit of clarity on his instructions from the bench. There's been some conflicting instructions coming in. Good time staying wide as Leighton for a way through, and Walters not quite having the success he did last time, getting the hat-trick. Luca held up by Akbari as he had wrapped his hands around his opposite number 14, Ramad Akbari. And Davey again asking for an opponent to be booked. One of these days it'll work. Wilson, nothing he likes going forward. Instead, Plays it back to Sheriff, and Walters will to close down Popovic, and Bahomba was there for the pass out to the sideline. A healthy contingent of supporters on the sideline there. And thankfully, have all come out from under the umbrellas as it appears to have cleared up, at least for the time being. St George just forcing Knights to go back. The passing lanes not presenting themselves. And now for Knights, is this where they could use someone like a Max Brown, who is quite adept at unlocking the defences. He's available tonight. From Leighton, it's over the top. It's still there for Knights as Deus gets it out to Cobb. And he's out-muscled by Deng Deng. So 5 minutes of normal time remaining here in the first half. There's been a proper arm wrestle between the reigning NPL premiers and reigning FQPL premiers. Certainly hear what Knights thought of that no call as Walters wound up on the ground. It's just a game of chicken with the Knights press, but he won that one. These passes pounced on as the side really seems to be able to hold on to possession for too long at the moment as pullback is not seen, and it's just play on here as we close in on half time. Herman getting it over the top for Krisic, and he'll tee up the hoist towards the top of the box. And great challenge by Davey, and he'll fire in from range and tipped over with a spectacular save by Wendt. In the moment of the first half, it was a great strike from Davey, who won the ball back off Cobb, saw the space and said, nah, I'm having a go at this one, and was A strong hand required from Went to make sure that one went over the bar. For the in-swing delivery to come in towards the near post. Deng Deng nods it on, but can't pick out Nakatani with the attempted flick on to the back post. See the replay is that was going to cause too much stress for the Knights defense. And they'll play it out. And last touch was a deflection off Martin, so throw in for St George. They would have to feel that on the basis of this first half, this is pretty even on just about every count, save for maybe corners. But the chances they have given up two Knights would be all that high on the old XG rating, I think. I'm no mathematician, I just talk into a microphone every so often. We have a flourish to finish the first half. Quick throw in taken by Deus. Mariners Academy player, Shelford Deus, and well, that will go down as a shot on target from Kroll, but one of the easier saves that Popovic will make, and there is no notable stoppage time to be added after a arm wrestle of a first half. Knights dominating the shots, but the best chance did fall to Jordan Davey of St George Willawong just 3 minutes ago, forcing a great save out of Casey Went. We're going to step away for some halftime ads and be back in about 10 or 12 minutes.
Felton has a high-quality, low-maintenance seating option to suit. We are the pioneers in Australian-made grandstands and team shelters. Contact Felton today on 1800 834 016 or visit felton.net.au.
Well, hello again, everyone. We are back for the second half of this rescheduled Round 3 NPL Men's Clash here at the Croatian Sports Centre at Carrara. James Coughlin bringing all the action as the reigning NPL Premiers Gold Coast Knights take on the 2024 FQPL 1 Premiers St George Willawong. No goals to report. Best chance of the first half fell to Jordan Davey of St George in the 42nd or so minute. We are ready for the second 45 minutes. And as we prepare for kickoff, as referee Tom Elliott blows his whistle. Quick check of the scores around the grounds. The other NPL men's match that did go ahead this evening, Brisbane City and Gold Coast United, they're also locked up at 0-0. Meanwhile, in the NPL Women's Magic Round at Nudgee Recreation Reserve, it is 1-0 Brisbane City over Gold Coast Knights as the rain that was here just before kickoff has made its way up to the north side of Brisbane. And in the other women's match, it is East taking on Souths United, with Amy Webster in commentary for that match. Adam Cattell for the City Gold Coast Knights match. And it is a very busy Friday evening on FQTV as returning Amaru Sheriff, who has been a steadying presence at the back. Strong chance by Krisic on Walker. Play on for Knights in man. We have a goal update from Nudgee as East have just scored against Souths in their match, which is about an hour in. It's 2-0 now, just after the hour mark between Easts and Souths. Still waiting for that breakthrough here as St George have put in a resolute defensive performance thus far, forcing the Gold Coast Knights into many passes like that. Moving it sideways just inside the St George half. And just a bit too far ahead of Walker. Popovic will patiently set that ball up for the goal kick. And there's also a bit of breaking news in NPL Queensland Worlds this evening, with the Wolves announcing their new head coach is Graham Harvey, replacing the departed Graham Fife. Fife signed off in style with that 6-2 win last weekend. Well, Harvey will have his tough first up assignment as Wolves take on Lions, and the calls are for a handball, but it's only going to be a corner. Walters finds a rare bit of space to run into as he tries to get around Bahombwa. I know the handball rule changes almost weekly from the powers that be. It would have been an awfully harsh decision. Back post and confidently taken by Popovic, who'll send it long straight away, asking a lot of his striker Kovacevic, but Went was off his line astutely. Can't force the touch from Bahomboy before it crosses the byline. Blocks that initial clearance attempt by Deng. Jankovic just gets that pass beyond the reach of Martin. And St George just clogging up the passing lanes. The discipline tonight has been exceptional thus far. It does beg the question, if you are Danny Najdich, how long can you ask your players to hold out? Kroll just calls for calm. And then rides that first challenge attempt from Wilson. And Davey again strong in a one-on-one battle for the ball. He's continued his run, but doesn't quite have the pace to get by Leighton. Another crucial interception by Wilson. Popovic has sprayed that one wide. And the touch from Deng takes it beyond Walker. He's faced with the challenge of Kroll, and he'll to square it, but it's more in hope than anything else, as able to find a bit of space in behind Jaden Walker. And that was how they did have some success in attack in the first half, albeit on the opposite flank. Looking for room in behind Shelford Deas. And not a whole lot of room for Deng to line up the long throw. And the football is tripped up St George player. And down goes Cobb after he's checked by Wilson. And you can hear what the assistant refs in the crowd, St George colours, think of that. And just the third yellow card shown tonight. Leighton and Nakatani getting booked in the first half. Headed behind by Deng for the concession of another corner. Goes the cross as there's a change for Knights with Matt Schmidt coming on in place of Jaden Walker. And too much is asked of Kaneko in that instance. Schmidt replaces his former running mate. Those two forming a very successful fullback duo for Knights in their early run in the NPL. And let's go back to 2018 when they're in the Gold Coast League. Schmidt away from Knights last season, but now back in the red and white. Dang, allows that one to soar over his head and finding Cobb, whose chip really pick out Nakatani. Those two continuing to go at it as Deng plays it up the sideline while getting fouled by Cobb. Or no, correction, the ball had already gone out. Right in front of the travelling St George fans. Pass is clipped straight into the hands of Popovic. Have a bit of skill from Kovacevic. And the ball over the top again, asking a lot of the St George forwards, but they've got numbers and options here if they can tee them up. Krizic out wide for Bahombwa, and he plays it off the hip of Herman. It's centred and just dumped clear by Leighton. As George continues to build the pressure as of players were down. Inman, I believe, was just fixing up a shoelace. And Bahombwa will take the time to stretch out the cramps as players running on the heavy surface here at Carrara will be feeling the effects just a little bit. As Luke Kroll is a player down requiring treatment and may force a reshuffle for Scott McDonald with a clear centre back option on the bench. And it will also be his second interchange window, so will he? Yes, well, you just saw the signal from the physio. Kroll is done and he's clutching the back of that left leg. So a second change in 5 minutes for Knights. This one injury enforced. I can tell you that Brisbane City have just taken a 1-0 lead over Gold Coast United. Mirko Crociati with the goal. And when it comes to hamstrings in that general area, it's probably not worth risking it. So Kaneko coming over just to get some further instructions. So Luke Kroll is withdrawn, and on comes number 15, Alfie Kemble. Looks like he might be the one to slot in as the central defender next to Sam Layton, who is on a yellow card. Or actually, it'll be Tyson Martin, who has a number of centre-back starts in his career, and it does look like Tyson Martin will be taking over that left-sided centre-back role. Martin, former Raw youth and Brisbane City player. Signed to Knights. Well, it's a question of how Scott McDonald was going to fit all these defenders in his squad. Well, he's done a good job repurposing Martin as a central midfielder, although I'll ask him to go back in time for the next half hour or so. Dang just thumps that one into the fence at the back. See some of the construction work taking place here at Carrara with the digger behind the goal. That hill area is getting redone. And it's nodded in and did across the line. It's cleared away. And for just a second, it looked like Knights had finally broken through, but instead, it is an offside. It's a header at the near post from Leighton was cleared by the cacophony of bodies. And still late for that first breakthrough. St. George have to be happy as the score remains 0-0. And something is happened. I believe Harry Christie has just come on in 43 for St. George. And there is the confirmation. Christie replacing Kovacevic. As Danny Nidich tries to inject some fresh legs into his attack, which has had limited opportunities, shall we say. Still chasing that breakthrough goal against Knights because it was Matt Schmidt who had the own goal 10 days ago. So no St. George player has scored against Knights in 1 2/3 of a match so far. And one Gold Coast Knights team has scored, I can tell you that much, as Adam Cattell has just called a Knights equaliser in the NPL Women's Magic Round clash. And the men find a breakthrough as cut back with no Knights player in the vicinity of that pass. Kemble back for Inman with the cross as it's faintly headed by Walters. And well, the umbrellas that have gone up in the crowd will tell you that the rain is back. And Akbari with the well-weighted chip for Deus, squares it for Walters, takes a touch, sliding challenge by Nakatani, gets it away from Walters. And the defensive resolve from St. George continues. Now Deus cutting back. He's got a couple of St. George players for company. Krizic, the nearest one. Now the cross from Akbari and could fall for Schmidt. And Jacob Fullick has come on in number 9. And can the subs make an impact for St. George? They've been very impressive without having that breakthrough thus far. Another corner for Knights to continue to build the pressure as Schmidt will come over for the delivery as Leighton makes his way into the box. As he lofted cross towards the back post, and Popovic was there or thereabouts, as it might have been a foul on the keeper. Sheriff will remonstrate with Mr. Elliott, but we'll get the decision going his way. Out to the right. Martin keeping it moving. Deus out wide now for crossing from Deus, and going for the acrobatic was Walters. He loves to have a crack. 93rd minute of the 2023 NPL Grand Final when he was with Moreton City. And Inman told Christie. Now could break for Inman. And a great save by Popovic. Keeps this game scoreless. And St. George hold out again. Akbari went it to Walters, and the deflection found the Knights attacker. And Popovic adamant there should have been a foul. Some of that St. George fire we know so well from this team. Using it to great effect tonight to repel the Knights. In swinging cross into the 6-yard box. It's dealt with, and now Deng Deng will to put on the afterburners. It's Fullock. Kaneko. Leighton sprays it out to the far side of the pitch. Akbari. And Cobb was holding on to the jersey of Deng Deng, and that time the referee says to Popovic, he's continuing the dialogue. I saw that one and called it as I saw fit. And Schmidt nodded it back, and Leighton is forced into the toe poke just to get it away. Wilson heads it to the edge of the box, and the bounce just caught out Christie. 20 minutes remaining. Lofted ball towards the spot, over the head of Fuller, cleared away by Kaneko. Krisic. A fortunate foot by Bahomwa. Gonna have that pass in its tracks, and a lunging challenge by Sheriff. Got ball and all on Inman, who has stayed down. St. George. Well, they continue to play. The referee is happy to let it go on as Knights be without Brad and Inman for the time being. Christie unable to control it. Now Walters. And Akbari will clip it over the top as Cobb will go to work. Inman trying to return to position. Ty Cobb, he was shaping up for the shot. And Deng Deng clipped it away before he could send that one towards Popovic's goal, and foul committed by Kemble. And will we have a change coming? As Deng Deng is down now, you wonder if his race is run. He has gotten through a mountain of work tonight. Jordan Bukavik has replaced Ty Cobb. Another one of the Knights youngsters, as there's a veteran Inman on the ball. And goes across, and it's therefore Schmidt did it strike the hand of the fullback, and that was the call from our referee. Popovic now not wanting to waste any time. 15 minutes of regulation to go. And they love that bit of skill from Deng Deng in the travelling supporters group. And that pass falls just short of Scott McDonald on the Knights bench. And there you can see him second from the right, remonstrating with the decision to have Deus take the throw in a few metres further back. The other NPL men's match that was supposed to be on tonight was Sunshine Coast Wanderers against the Raw, which has been postponed to a later date. Just add it to the list of postponed matches, including the entire round 3, which was supposed to be caught up this weekend. And plenty of pictures have taken a lot of wear, taken on a lot of water as well in the last couple of months. Bari putting it back in, man, with the chip for Walters, and getting the hand out so well was Popovic. And he's denied Walters and Knights again, Nikola Popovic. He is down hurt as it was a challenge from Walters. And the yellow card is going to get shown to the Knights striker for that. He's picked up now his 6th booking in all competitions. Here's Walters. But how about that save from Popovic to deny Walters, who from that range you would count on him to score. And just that second effort to try and get the ball, which didn't look like it might have been briefly there for the taking. And Campbell tugged back. And the yellow card is shown to Jankovic. And the yellow card's not quite flowing as freely as the first meeting this season, but up to 5. The player that's been booked is still on the pitch. Leighton. For Bukarvik, it could fall for Schmidt. Nakatani just got in the way, and that is cynical from Schmidt, and he is going to get a booking for that as well. I'm not quite sure if he thought that one through. Schmidt is Nakatani. I think he was aware of that one. The substitute. Three yellow cards apiece, still 0 goals apiece. Popovic continues to get excellent range on his goal kicks. Behind now, finding Martin. It's his deflection back, trying to play it through to Inman, but no such luck. Simmons is on for St George, wearing number 11. Another attacking change made by the visitors. Schmidt swings it in, and with the shoulder of Leighton as Akbari can't bend that one in. And we'll take you back to live pictures as the kick was taken quickly. It's continuing to press as they search all the way through. They've been banging at the door for 81 minutes, but not for some desperation challenges. Kendall's shot is blocked. Kaneko find a way through Christie, and it's the Knights player who's adjudged to have committed the foul. Once again, a disagreement over the location of the free kick. Plenty of height on that one. Ding Ding will throw it back, all the way back. Walters moving into the box, no way through Herman, heavy touch. He's dispossessed, but just as quickly, St George give it back to Knights, still in the St George half. Martin for Akbari, cutting it back, and down he goes. Has made sure he was contacted, but not enough for the foul. And Flick will let fly, and fly the ball did all the way into the back fence. Pass behind Martin will go to the St George bench as McDonald once again asks for calm from his players. St George well aware of the game situation here. I'd say they'd be happy with the draw, although considering the opponent and the location, it wouldn't be the worst outcome for them, as Went comes off his line to claim that. To work, finding support. Can't quite get it where he needs it to go. No foul on Yankovic. It's Bukovic. Drills that one into the back of a St George player and goes across again for Walters. Watched closely by two St George players. They are not going to let Kes Walters be the one that beats them tonight, surely. They've efforted to mark him out of the match, and it could break now for Bukovic, but it's out of reach as Popovic picks that one up. He's been immense tonight. It's been a strong shift from those in all white. Clever ball by Yankovic. Out wide, and the offside flag has gone up against Simmons as he'd just stolen a yard, and it is going to be a yellow card now for the substitute for kicking it away. Second booking of the campaign, Alex Simmons. Be accused of the commentator's curse, but we need something drastic to change in the tenor of this game to find a breakthrough in the final 5 minutes, as Knights continue to search for a way through, and St George will continue to aim to repel them as Walters will let fly, and oh, that was close. Decision is goal kick. Popovic gets told to keep it moving. St George happy to play at their pace all evening. They continue to hold out. St George goes out wide as Bari is. Instead, it's Deus. Did he keep that one in? Well, doesn't matter because he was offside. Running header by Leighton, can only find Deng Deng. And was that one kept in? It was not, and it certainly looked like it was. Oh, the ball over the whole of the line as Knights. Over for Martin. And a crunching challenge on that far side. I think Akbari liked that from Simmons, and he had to get that one right. Especially being already booked. One last change for the visitors. Sazdo Georgiev comes on for Luka Yankovic. Basically the entire attacking quartet has been replaced. Georgiev now playing it into the other substitute there. It's Fullick down. He goes in the box and it's over the bar. And just like in the first half, St George's best chance comes in the closing minutes. See Georgiev with his first involvement. And that challenge by Deus. He got enough of the ball. Now into stoppage time. We might have a couple of minutes to be played as Popovic clutches that one before it can reach Walters, who is going to be at least a little bit flattered by the fact that St George have had to dedicate 2 defenders to him. Now Popovic winds up on his backside, but still gets a good 60, 70 yards on that clearance. Martin thought about it. Instead, he'll go for a run. Kaneko afforded space for the cross into the box. Headed away by Sheriff, and much as they loved having him back at St George. Georgiev into Deng, and he's fouled by Kemble. And despite the requests for a booking, straight over the top from St George. Christie can't see a way through the wall of red. He goes wide, finding Simmons. Left-footed in swinging cross, and Georgiev got a foot to it. Ahead of Wendt. And he played that one over the bar. And we actually don't have time for the replay. It's back in live action. Martin striding forward. Centers it for Kemble. And Herman goes straight through the back of Akbari. Akbari quick to get to his feet and quick to go back on his haunches again as Walters strong in the challenge. Will he take it on himself? Tries to go through, but Sheriff there for the cleanup, and he'll punch that one over the sideline. And Wilson arguing that he got hit with a swinging arm. Martin. It's the play on signal. Tom Elliott having heard the case made by Wilson. Now Bukavec fires it across the face of goal. And was that the last chance for Gold Coast Knights? And Popovic will take his time, so he'll stay in this replay. Just rolling around Bahombwa. Popovic is now up to about 45 seconds, and that is too long in the opinion of Mr. Elliott. So another yellow card, this time Nikola Popovic. Plenty of distance on that one. We have any late drama at the Croatian Sports Centre. Time is getting very close to running out, surely. Schmidt afforded the space for the back post cross, and Popovic. Oh, there was only one man going to take that cross, and it was Nikola Popovic, and he tells Walters to stay down after taking that one out. And a healthy back and forth. The Gary Owen, up and under from Popovic. It's worked out for the visitors. The switch of play doesn't quite switch it enough. Now Deus holding on. How much time is left? Surely not much. We're into the 96th minute of action. It's Gold Coast's turn to try the Big switch. It finds Matt Schmidt. And his cross can only find Deng Deng. Kemble unable to get to the ball. Deflects off the bleachers. Don't think we're playing rebound rules. Leighton. Over for Deus. Everyone back for St. George. They just hold on. Deng Deng clears it away, and that will be the final action here at the Croatian Sports Centre. It might not be a first win of the NPL campaign for St. George Willawong, but a very well-earned point against the reigning NPL premiers. 2 good chances for the visitors. A couple of good saves by Nikola Popovic as well. And that is all she wrote from Carrara. I'm James Coughlin. Final score for the final time. Gold Coast Knights 0, St. George Willawong 0. It's been a production of Double Take Sports for Football Queensland. Thank you very much for your company. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and good night.
Is he still there? He told me, hey, he told me.